Systemd is one of the most effective way of deploying applications on Linux servers because Systemd allows you to run your application as a service, just as you would run a web server, for example. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to convert your existing bot project to a Systemd service that will run on a Linux server easily and comfortably, because Systemd will be able to automatically start your bot when the server starts up without you having to do it manually, and it will also automatically stop it, restart it, and also check for its status. So let's get started. Here I have a project, one of the bots that we created in previous lessons. Before moving this project inside our server to run it as a service there, we can run it here once, and this way you will see how it works. So Python, and let me use my local Python environment for that. First activate it. And now I can say Python and bot.py. You see that the bot started. We can try some of the commands in this bot, like sending a sticker, sending a photo. Basically, this is how it works. So now I'm going to move these projects files to my server, to my Linux server that is running as a VirtualBox machine, as a virtual OS, and run it there as a Systemd service. So let me show you my VirtualBox window. Here's my VirtualBox window. It is already running a Fedora Linux server. You can see it's actually a Fedora workstation that I'm using as a server. So I have started it in detached mode, but I can show it to you. You can see it shows the login prompt, but we don't need to log in it this way. We can SSH into it. So I close it, continue running in the background. We are basically running it in the background. And I know the IP address for this server. So let's go to the project directory. My project directory is like that. We need to know the exact location on the server where we want to copy these. But because we don't have that folder yet, we are going to first SSH into our server using a separate terminal, and then go here and copy the files there. So let me SSH into the server. SSH. I SSH using a private key that I have defined. You can use it this way, or you can simply enter your password and connect to your Linux server. IDRSA VBox. This is the name of the key that I have for this server. Now I enter my username, which is Mehdi. You can skip entering your username if your username on the server is exactly the username that you have on your host machine. So we could have skipped that. The IP address 168.1 and 170. This is the IP address. And now we are connected to our Fedora server. Let's go to var www slash, and here inside this directory var www, we create a folder for our project, for our Systemd project. Let's actually create a folder called MediaBot, because this is a MediaBot. So I use sudo mkdir. I create a folder called MediaBot. I enter my password, and ls MediaBot, you can see it is created. So now I go Actually, I changed the owner to Mehdi because Mehdi should be able to access it and copy the files there rather than the root user. So I also changed the owner from root to Mehdi. So owner changed, and now we can even make sure of it. You can see the owner is this. You can see the owner is listed here as my user. Okay, now back here, I'm going to copy all the files that I have inside this project folder to the folder that I created right now. So let's go inside MediaBot so that we can later check the existence of new files that will be copied. So I'm using rsync for this purpose. Rsync with these options RZVE, and then I specify my SSH information here, which is my key information, ID RSA VBox. This will allow me to connect rsync to my Linux server. Now specify the IP address. I skip the username because it's exactly the username that I have here. 170, and the path on the Linux server where I want to copy the files is MediaBot. So I specify it like this. And also don't forget to mention the source folder, the source files that you want to copy. The source files is this. I add a dot here, which means everything inside this folder where I am right now. Sorry, it should be here. So source target. Let's see if it works. There we go, it worked. And now all the files should have been copied to the server. Let's go to the terminal and see that. You can see, there we go, all the files have been copied here. So now, in order to run this on the server, it's good practice to create a virtual environment and then run it. So I'm going to run a virtual environment, create a virtual environment here. And then install the requirements. So pip install dash, let's activate it first with this venv being activate. And now let's install all the requirements. So pip install -r requirements. Wait for the requirements to install. Okay, the requirements are added to our project, and now we can run the project using Python bot.py. So let's try it. Okay, looked like that my system's time was wrong and I had to update the time. And now let's run to see if it is working. All right, the bot started. You can see. There we go. It is working. Okay, fine. Now let's stop this, and we are going to turn this into a systemd service. This is the very important part. So I'm gonna create a new file called the unit file, a systemd unit in this directory, etc systemd system, and I'm gonna name the file mediabot.service. I enter my password, and let's create the file like this, unit. I add a description for it. Description, my media bot. And there's a directive called after. I enter it, network online.target. which means after network is online, the service starts. And then the type is service. And below service, I specify the type of the service, which is a simple service, and the user under which this command and service will be run is my own user, Mehdi. And where do we want to send the standard output of this bot? It's going to be service journal, the service journal that is used by systemd. And the working directory where we want to run the bot is very important to be mentioned here. It is var www media bot. And then the command that we want to run exec start is mentioned here, var www mediabot mediabot slash venv, which is our virtual environment, and then bin python, and then the name of the file that will be run is bot.py, and restart, the restart condition is always, which means for whatever reason, if the service stopped, you restart it. And then install, this is also the last part of the file that we are writing, wanted by, like this, multi-user dot target. This is also something related to system level service specification, that we want our service to run as soon as the system boots up, and not wait for user Mehdi to log in, because this is a system service that we want to run all the time on our server as long as the server is up and running. So now I'm gonna save it like this. Let's check if this service is correctly written. So systemctl, sudo systemctl, and enable it, and start it at the same time with dash dash now, and then the name of the service, mediabot.service, like this. Okay, it should start now. Let's check it here. There we go, the bot started. So let's try one of the commands. There we go, you can see it is working. Send photo as well, send animation. All of these commands should be working because it is up and running. So once we have our project service running and we have our bot project run as a service, we can check its status in systemd with this command, systemctl status mediabot. You don't have to specify the .service suffix of the file. So you can see it is active and running. This is very nice. You can see some good information here about your service. And if for some reason the project failed, the service failed to start, you can check for the errors using journalctl-xeu, and the name of the service here is mentioned. The journal is almost empty because it is correct. We didn't have much problems starting the service. Okay, the type simple is wrong. You can see there's a problem in our service definition. The simple should be written with a small s, not with capital S. So I'm gonna change that. Sudo vi etc systemd system mediabot. I'm gonna change this. So journal was really helpful in helping us diagnose the problem that we had with our service definition. Once you made a change to your service file, you should run systemctl, of course with sudo daemon reload. This is also very important. Now we have our service set up and it is currently running on the server. In order to make sure that this service will start and will restart itself whenever I reboot my server and doesn't require me to manually go to the server and run it, I'm gonna reboot the server now, and then we will wait here for the bot to see if it is automatically starting. So let's go to Oracle VirtualBox Manager. Let's also bring this up, our Telegram client, and here I'm gonna shut the server off. Stop and ACPI shutdown or power off. I power the server off. Okay, you could also run reboot here. It's not responding anymore because the server is dead. So I'm gonna close this tab. Let's start the server. I'm gonna start it with headless mode. So the type headless start. And let's wait for the server to start. I'm gonna show you the window that it is starting. Okay, the server is up and running. Let's bring it to the background, continue running in the background. And we're gonna see if it is starting the bot. The bot should start running. But it seems that it failed for some reason. We didn't get that message, that starting message. Let's try a command. No, it is dead. Let's diagnose it. So SSH, let's SSH into the server. Let's do systemctl status MediaBot. Okay, it failed. Nothing useful here. I'm gonna use journal for that. So sudo journal ctl. Of course, it doesn't require sudo xeu MediaBot. Let's check the output here, see if there's something useful here. Unable to locate executable MediaBot venv. Okay. This is actually very bad because as you can see, permission is denied. Selinux is preventing us from running it. So on systems like Fedora that are using Selinux, you have to be careful about Selinux and also deal with Selinux as well. So I'm going to show you how to deal with this as well. We need to have special context for Selinux to allow our application to run in this directory. Okay, turns out the correct context for Selinux to run this is this. So I'm gonna change the Selinux context for this directory, for the directory where my bot files are, is let's change it to this cmanage f context. We're gonna change the context this way. Change it to this context, systemd unit file t. And then the path to our files var www mediabot, and then everything that might follow with this regular expression. Let's apply this change. Okay. We added the context, but we need to apply that. In order to apply it, we say sudo restore con rv and a path var www mediabot, and you can see everything is relabeled now in the Selenics database, and now our service should be able to start with Selenics on. So without having to disable Selenics, you can see it is enforcing. We should be able to run our bot service. So let's try our luck. Sudo systemctl start MediaBot. Let's go to the bot. There we go. It is started. Now we got rid of that denial error that we had because we correctly relabeled our project files to the context that was required by Selenics to run. Now I'm gonna restart my server and see if the bot service automatically restarts itself and fires up the bot. So sudo reboot. You can see in the VirtualBox term window that it is restarting. Let's have a look here. It should show the message, my first bot started, once the server starts. There we go. We received that message. And now let's try one of the commands. Send a sticker. There we go. Send animation. And that one works as well. So with the help of systemd units, you can create reliable bots that will run automatically on your Linux servers without you having to manually start or stop them. Whenever you want to stop a service inside the server, you SSH into the server, and you can simply say systemctl stop MediaBot, the name of the server, the service that you want to stop. But we don't want to do that, so I cancel this command